What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now today is a massive video when it comes to Modern Warfare the 2nd, because what I'm going to be mentioning in today's video is going to pretty much drastically change how we all play Call of Duty current date. Now, if you guys haven't seen this already over on Twitter, the Ghost of Hope put this up saying, dolphin diving equals offensive and sliding equals defensive. If you guys haven't noticed, in the past few years of Call of Duty, slide canceling has become extremely mainstream. I mean, even Black Ops Cold War had slide canceling for a certain period of time until they completely nerfed it into the dirt and, basically took it out of their game. But every single game that runs, at least on the Modern Warfare engine, whether it's Modern Warfare 2019 or talking about Call of Duty Vanguard, we have had nothing but slide canceling back to back to back. Now, I do understand where people come from saying that it adds a skill gap, because realistically it does. If you use a slide cancel maneuver in the right place during the right time, it could really give you the upper hand advantage in a gunfight. But the problem that came up and was never resolved, because obviously, it became mainstream and everybody wanted to start doing slide canceling, is that it wasn't used strategically. It became something that was over-abused. It was a movement method to basically speed up your character, allow you to get to certain parts of the map faster, break camera angles, and make yourself a harder target. So instead of people having to think about when and where to actually use a slide cancel maneuver, they just spam it. Every single step they take, they have a slide cancel incorporated. And basically, this changed up the whole formula of what Call of Duty is all about. I mean, looking back to something like Modern Warfare 2 that you see right here, there was no slide cancel. There was nothing like a dolphin dive, The best maneuver that you could pull off here is a single bunny hop, one singular jump, because you can't, string together 3 jumps like you can in more modern Call of Duty games. You can only jump one time before you lose all momentum, or you could decide to drop shot. You pick your poison on which one you wanted to take, depending on the gunfight that's presented in front of you. And in my personal opinion, I don't know if anybody else is going to agree with me, but I much rather play the old classic style of Call of Duty compared to what we have at present day. Slide canceling was alright in the beginning, but the second I started absolutely destroying keyboards from spamming the freaking control key so much, and also the damage it does on your hands as well, it makes you not want to slide cancel, which you already know the results of not slide canceling. You fall behind. It is a massive game changer to decide to not go along with the trend of slide canceling. It will severely affect your gameplay. If you want to pub stomp, you can't expect to pub stomp higher tier level, lobbies if you don't learn to slide cancel. So it puts us, players who want to, strive to become a little bit better at these games, it puts us in a rough situation, because we have an option here. We either, like I said, destroy all of our products, have to keep rebuying keyboards, rebuying controllers, rebuying analog sticks, suffer through actual injuries. Like I said, I've hurt myself multiple times spamming this stupid ass method, and tons of pros in the actual, Call of Duty Pro League have injured themselves as well with the slide canceling maneuver because of how much they try to abuse it at once. So you either suffer and go along with the trend, or you decide not to slide cancel, and you have to change your playstyle drastically. And when I say drastically, I mean by a massive margin. Super duper duper camp mode. You have to hold angles, camp in buildings, and bait your opponents out, because, like I said, the slide canceling maneuver breaks camera angles. So you have to make sure that you have the upper hand advantage on the enemy, because if you're running and gunning, they're going to beat you 9 times out of 10. If they slide around the corner, they're going to break the angle, be able to see you first, and engage with you first, which in a fast time to kill game like Call of Duty, that will usually, end up with you being dead. So those are your choices nowadays. I miss the old days where you didn't have to completely hurt yourself, butcher yourself, in order to want to become better at COD. COD was a game that anybody in the world could absolutely pick up. But if you wanted to excel, even if it's just a slight bit more than anybody else, you could do so without drastically injuring yourself or destroying your products. So to hear that sliding is more of a defensive maneuver when it comes to Modern Warfare the 2nd actually makes me pretty happy, because it makes me think of something like Call of Duty Ghost, where, sliding isn't going to be your main form of movement. You're only going to be using it on the rare occasion if you want to dip out of a gunfight into cover. It will help you get a tiny bit of speed boost, but at the same time, it's not going to be abused to help you get the upper hand advantage at all times in every single gunfight. Actually, Ghost is a bad example. I think Cold War is the best way to go ahead and describe this, this, because that was exactly how Treyarch described switching up the slide cancel maneuver. In the beginning, you could literally abuse it, just like you could in Modern Warfare, to give you an extra speed boost and help you break camera angles, but Treyarch came out and said they don't want the slide cancel to be abused in this way. They want slide canceling, or sliding in general, to be used for you to get into cover, get out of gunfights, and try to change up positions efficiently, giving you that extra movement method without it being completely abused, and they did it perfectly. In Black Ops Cold War, there was actually a little speed boost that you would obtain if you sit down, you don't move for at least a couple of seconds, you get a jolt of speed. I prefer this much more. It resembles the slide cancel maneuver. It allows you to get that extra jolt when you first initially sprint off, but it's not something you're going to abuse over and over and over again. Black Ops Cold War, near the end of its life cycle, even though it's not the best, most outstanding Call of Duty game out there, I feel like it truly, brought back the roots of what Call of Duty is all about. Picking and moving, finding a good power position, picking up a few kills, moving on to the next, picking up a few more kills, then move on to the next, picking up a few more kills, and then move on to the next. Yes, Call of Duty is one of the most fast-paced arcade shooters out there, but it's not like how people describe it is today. The way people think of Call of Duty today, they make it think like it's, jetpacks 24/7, non-stop movement, non-stop momentum. That's not what COD was always about. Yes, it had more momentum than any other, games out at the time. But at the same time, you had to think strategically. You had to think about your cover. You had to think about your next move. And that's what made Call of Duty so great. So with allowing people to get that extra speed boost after holding cover in Black Ops Cold War, encourages the pick and move mindset over just blatantly spamming the crouch move to, navigate around the map, not thinking about cover. That's what you do when you slide cancel. You don't think about cover. You don't think about the map in front of you. You don't think about your strategic plan. No, you literally are using a movement method to abuse camera angles and win gunfights. It's efficient, it works, but it's not a strategic move. It's not something you're going to think about. It's not like, okay, in Modern Warfare 2019, I'm going to slide cancel at this moment so I can get out of fire, get into cover, reload, reevaluate the situation, and then re-engage. No, you just have it programmed that every step you take, you slide along with it. And I'm also very curious what he means by dolphin diving being more of the offensive approach. When I hear that, it makes me think that people are going to be dolphin dive spamming. It's going to be the same exact thing, but instead of sliding, you're going to be flopping on your stomach 50 times back to back to back. I really hope that's not the case, but I guess with time we'll see what that actually means, with dolphin diving being a more offensive movement and sliding being a more of a defensive movement. But also, another bit of information about the sliding is that within the beta, apparently, it's not going to actually be within the game just yet. It's going to be the same way they handled the minimap, basically, with Modern Warfare 2019 in the beta. It's not going to be in at all. They're going to test out community feedback, and depending on, how negative the feedback is or how positive the feedback is, that will determine if they're going to reintroduce slide canceling or if they're going to keep it out of the game. This is my input on the whole thing here. And also, actually, I would like to show this little poll here that Modern Warzone put up here, because he has a very massive following, so I think his numbers are going to be the best. But it seems that a lot of people also agree that they don't want slide canceling reintroduced into Modern Warfare 2. So it's going to be very interesting once the beta comes around to see the community's feedback to no slide canceling at all. But once again, this is how I feel about the overall picture. I don't want them to completely remove sliding out of the game, which, like I said, that's how it's going to be. Apparently, within the beta of Modern Warfare 2, it's going to be like you're watching right in front of you. No sliding whatsoever. But I feel like it should stay in the title, More movement is good for a game. It adds more variety, it adds more scenarios, and it adds more ways for you to engage with an enemy or even get out of engagements. I like that. I like the variety. But they have to balance it out. It can't be abused like it was in the past. They have to take a Treyarch approach, like with Cold War. Just dumb it down. Make it exactly what it's made to do. Get you into cover. Get you into a defensive position. Get you out of gunfire. That's exactly how it should be handled. But at the same time, the game can't be so slowed down. That's another thing that I'm a little worried about, I might hate slide canceling, but it definitely made COD a lot faster. I mean, 10 times faster than any previous title because of literally only slide canceling. So I'm really worried that if they go ahead and remove it from the game, that's going to dumb down the pacing of the overall title. But as long as they know what they're doing, as long as they make the movement at least decent, and like I said, even if they take the Cold War approach where they give you a little speed boost after, standing still for a couple of seconds, that would be phenomenal, because it won't encourage people to sit in one spot. I was never encouraged to sit in one place in Black Ops Cold War, because the speed boost just felt so darn good. I loved, picking up a piece of cover real quick, plopping down one, maybe two enemies, and then just hauling ass to the next piece of cover because of that speed boost. It felt amazing. So if they could reintroduce that into Modern Warfare 2, tone down the sliding, don't completely remove it, don't take away variety from the player, but just tone it down so it's not over, abused, and have dolphin diving as another mechanic to allow us to engage in certain situations. I think, honestly, the variety might be quite nice, but again, we will have to wait and see until we can get hands-on to play and see what's really going on here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. Bums I hate it, leave a dislike. Also, for brand new and enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, want to chat with me, this is always do so. Twitter and Discord, both link down in the description. And also want to catch me live streams of video games, do it on Twitch. Link that's in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you all next one. Peace out.